What's up, everybody? And today we're checking out a video called Kirk Assassination Explained. This is by a channel called AI Telly. I've actually watched one of their videos before on this channel when we were talking about the bombing in Iran, when the B-2 bombers bombed Iran. We watched one of their videos and it was an absolutely fantastic breakdown with incredible animations. And so what we're going to do is we're going to watch this and see what they've got for this. I really want to keep this as centered around the actual event rather than the politics and all that other jazz. We can talk about that in the future if you want. We talked about it a little bit in the live stream last night, but I really want to talk about what actually happened from a military standpoint and kind of using my experience to talk about the shot and all that other stuff. So we're going to break it down. We're going to see what it's all about. I will leave a link down below for AI Telly. Make sure you go over there, give it some love. Their channel is genuinely fantastic and their animations are brilliant. So head over to the OG video, give it some love. Before we get started though, we're going to talk about the channel sponsors. Check out Chug, 10% off, link down below for the best drinking vessel in the world. These things are absolutely phenomenal. I cannot recommend them enough. You get free customization. Look at that. They put the morale logo on mine, which is really cool. I can't show you the inside because it's got me water in it. But you can get 10% off, link down below. Handmade here in the UK by a small business using sustainable materials. I cannot recommend them enough. 10% off, link down below. Also, if you haven't already and you want to be a part of the movement we have started with the successful Kickstarter, this drink is legitimately going to do good for a lot of people. If you don't know what it is, the idea behind it is we are taking the profits of this drink, a good chunk of the profits, and sponsoring outdoor activities. I like a lot of big drink companies, right? Like Monster and Red Bull and stuff like that. They take the money from their drink and they use it to sponsor extreme sports. We're going to be taking the money from this drink and getting people outside more, getting the next generation of kids outside more. I think it's really important to disconnect from the online world and reconnect with nature and the outside world, especially the past like 24, 48 hours with the amount of news that has come through of all this crazy stuff with Charlie Kirk and the stuff going on with the Russian drones in Poland and all this other stuff. It can be very overwhelming with the news, and getting outside, I think, is incredibly important. So if you want to be part of the movement, go check out the Instagram and the website. If that's not something that's your cup of tea, don't worry about it. Don't go over to the Instagram. I would rather have 1,000 people on the Instagram that are genuinely passionate about getting people outside rather than 10,000 people who are not that bothered. So we're really trying to make a tight-knit community. If you want to be a part of it, check that out. All right, for more serious talk here now, we're going to be talking about what happened. Obviously, if you are a little sensitive to these types of talks, then it might be worth going elsewhere because obviously we're going to be talking about something tragic that happened. And if that's not your cup of tea, if you've got people around you that are maybe ex-military or first responders or anything like that, that might have certain forms of PTSD, then maybe don't watch this video, okay? There's not going to be any footage of the actual event on here. It's going to be the animations. I'm going to be talking about what's going on, all right?
On September 10, 2025,
why is that so loud? Christ almighty.
Charlie Kirk was assassinated. This is the possible position where the assassin had a clear line of sight from a building located about 430 feet away. The assassin squeezed the trigger and a single bullet traveled this distance and struck Charlie Kirk right in the neck.
So we have to talk about placement of the round. There's a couple different ideas going out there saying, we discussed this on the live stream yesterday. Was he wearing body armor and the round deflected up? Was this individual trying to aim for the head and it dipped and hit his neck? We're going to get into that in this video as well.
Detail all in the video ahead. Charlie Kirk was tragically assassinated at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah on September 10, 2025. He was hosting a large outdoor debate event as part of Turning Point USA's nationally publicized tour, titled the American Comeback Tour. This event was designed as a lively debate platform called Prove Me Wrong, where Kirk invited students to challenge his political and cultural views. But first, let's orient ourselves with a bird's eye view of the scene and the positions of everyone involved.
This is a great... AI Telly do a great breakdown of this animation. Again, there'll be a link down below to the OG video. Make sure you go down there and check out their channel because they are brilliant.
Utah Valley University's campus is a mix of open courtyards and multi-story academic buildings.
Very similar to a lot of other universities around the US. I went to USM University of Southern Maine. Very similar, lots of buildings, lots of open areas between buildings. This is not, for those of you who don't live in America, this is very common for a lot of universities.
At the heart of the event was the Losey Center building, a multi-story structure adjacent to the main courtyard where Kirk's event took place.
All right, let's have a look here. There are footage going around. There's actually some really compelling footage now of the shooter where someone was in, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but this building behind Kirk, someone was recording from there and kind of panning. Now, if you're looking from like Kirk's position, right, and if they're looking out the windows behind the building of Kirk, they're panning from left to right in this footage. And you can see someone on the very corner of the top of Loose Center building running from this bottom corner, you could say the closest right-hand corner, and they're moving from right to left towards this square top part of the building here. I don't know what I'd like to call that. There were also other footage where someone saw the individual jumping down from the building. Now, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 stories up here. So he must have got down somewhere to a lower part, because the footage I saw was an individual jumping what looked like 2 stories down. So my presumption is maybe it was over here, but there was also a road in the background, so it might have been on this far side of the building here, because you can see a road in the background and he's kind of like running towards the road. I wish I had that footage to show you. But the guy obviously jumped down and ran across a bit of grass up into a road. And this individual, there's been some CCTV footage of this individual. Let me see if I can actually get it up on my phone and I'll show it on camera real quick. And from what I can see is someone was saying he was wearing some sort of patriotic or military style t-shirt or sweatshirt. Let me see if I can get an image of this individual up on Reddit, maybe. I'm not going to be able to find it, and I don't want you guys just kind of sitting around waiting for me to find this image. People were using AI to try and make this image, here we go, make this image a little bit more defined, but I feel like that's a bad way to do it. This is in the individual. Now, I have to premise this by saying Utah police, I think, put this image out asking for more information. So as far as we're aware, this looks like it could be the individual that did it. There was also, and I'm scrolling through X here, there was a video of an individual running, like I said, and jumping off the building. Someone is saying that this is the bolt action rifle that the individual had that was found in a forest nearby, which we'll get into that in a little bit. There's lots of images of this individual now, but what I'm trying to find is the video of this individual jumping. When I was talking about the video of phone footage panning from left to right from this building behind Kirk, this, and it's going to be very hard to see this, but if you can see that arrow, let me see if I can zoom in there. There's an individual in the background running on the top of that building. It is being kind of acknowledged by the wider audience that there's the video there. Let me see. You're not going to be able to see it because it's so far away. It's being acknowledged that, and you can't even see it. That's from that building there behind Kirk, and they're saying that is the individual who took the shot, and he's running across the building. I can't find the video of this individual. It was like CCTV video of the individual jumping down the side of the building and running towards the traffic. I can't seem to find that video now, which I wish I had that up prior to it, but I was just glancing through social media. But you just have to take my word for it and look out for it yourself. With all that being said, we know of the exit plan of this individual, and let's talk about the shot itself.
Charlie Kirk himself was positioned on an outdoor stage under a large white tent emblazoned with the tour's banner. He was sitting and speaking into a microphone, facing hundreds of students seated along the main walkway and gathered around the stage. The The crowd was estimated at over 3,000 attendees, including students and visitors.
That's 3,000 people that witnessed something tragic, and I hope that they're all dealing with that relatively well, because for those individuals who maybe aren't vets or aren't people who have been around this type of stuff, this can be quite damaging for your mental health. The other thing as well is that his wife and children were apparently in attendance. I cannot even imagine the amount of trauma that's put them through.
Meanwhile, on the rooftop of the Losey Center building, a person dressed entirely in black was seen. This building was approximately 430 feet, about 131 meters.
All right, not that far. If you're, you've shot a few times, if you've been in the military, if you've trained. Obviously, this is America. A lot of people have weapons and they can train whenever they want. 131 meters, 430 feet. It's not that far of a shot, is it? I said in the live stream last night, though, it is much different in the situation on which this individual took this shot. There's a dip. Charlie was, if you've watched that absolutely horrific video where you see the shot take place, he is sat down, but he's moving about. He's moving about. He's picking up a mic, putting the mic down. So there's movement there. This isn't an individual that was just completely still. And the other thing as well is the amount of pressure that this individual that took the shot would have been under to get the shot and get out of there is I'm sure quite substantial. So with all them variables and the fact that he landed the shot, which I think he was aiming for the head, and I think it was a dip. I think he was aiming on target and didn't account for the dip, and therefore, 430 feet, 131 meters. You're talking a couple inches of dip there, not too much, a little bit of a dip there. It would put it around on the unfortunate area of the neck. And so I think this individual, I don't know whether he was a veteran, obviously. I'm not going to throw that out there. And I'm not going to throw out what his political opinions were. We can presume things, but we haven't caught the individual. So, but what I can say is this guy's obviously shot before. This individual has obviously practiced to do a shot like that under the amount of pressure that it would have taken. We've also thinking about his exit plan and all this other stuff. This individual definitely has been practicing and definitely has a decent amount of experience. Not saying that a noob can't take this shot. They probably could, but I think that it takes a little bit more than that.
From where Kirk and his team were stationed on the stage. The rooftop provided a clear vantage point with open sightlines directly to the event area. Security footage and numerous eyewitness accounts have confirmed that the gunshot rang out from this rooftop location while Kirk was actively speaking.
I wonder what the actual visuals from that area would have looked like, because he's obviously under like a bit of a gazebo, Kirk, isn't it? He's under this canopy. And there's a flap down there you can see, and so I'm wondering what the visuals would actually be like from that area. It might actually be a little bit more difficult than you would think. This individual must have had some experience.
The bullet struck Kirk in the neck, causing him to collapse on the stage. But how did the assassin escape despite the huge crowd? The assailant's use of distance, the campus layout, and what is believed to be a scoped firearm indicate a high degree of planning and precision.
Someone was saying it was a Mauser, which 2 or 3 inches dip would 3 or 4 inches maybe actually is probably quite on the point there.
The shooter chose an elevated, concealed position to avoid close detection and maximize the chances of escape. Here is the bullet trajectory. Given this altitude, the assassin had a clear, unobstructed line of sight directly to the stage where Charlie Kirk was standing and addressing the crowd. The bullet's trajectory descended steeply and accurately through open space to strike Kirk in the neck, which strongly suggests the use of a scoped firearm designed for long-range precision.
Yeah, it could easily be a hunting rifle. I mean, we've seen images of what the rifle looked like. If that is the correct rifle, it would have had a scope on it. It would have done this with... If he did this with iron sights, Jesus Christ.
As soon as the shot was fired, the gunman likely retreated to an entrance on the top of the building. Despite security efforts, the shooter disappeared without a trace, climbing down from the building and blending into nearby campus structures or escape routes surrounding the Losey Center.
As far as I'm aware with this video that I saw, it looks like he took this route here. I wish I could find that video.
Witnesses reported that panic broke out immediately after the shot. The audience scattered, seeking shelter as shouts of "Get down" and "Run" echoed across the courtyard. Campus police and Kirk's personal security team moved swiftly to secure the area and evacuate Kirk.
You have to also mention that Kirk wouldn't have had the security that a high-profile public figure would have had. This is a private individual working for a private company, which means the security would have been what he's paid for personally, or at least the company. What's the company called that he owns? Turning Point. Is that correct? I think it's Turning Point. They would have paid for security, and so these security individuals, they've not got snipers on roofs. They haven't got all this, advanced stuff like you would see when Trump nearly got assassinated.
Here is the detailed timeline of how it happened at 12 o'clock p.m., September 10, 2025. Event begins. Charlie Kirk began the event, with more than 3,000 people gathered to attend. The security detail consisted of 6 officers, along with Kirk's personal security team.
So there were police there, but they would have just been standard officers, wouldn't they? They wouldn't have been anything more than that.
12:20 p.m., lead up to the shooting. Kirk was seated at the debate table, answering questions from students. The discussion touched on sensitive topics such as mass shootings and gun violence. Kirk remained calm and composed as he responded to a question about mass shooters, still holding the microphone while seated. The atmosphere was lively but controlled, many sitting close to the stage while others watched from nearby balconies and standing areas. 12:22 to 12:23 p.m., the assassination. Suddenly, a loud gunshot echoed through the courtyard. Kirk was hit in the neck while speaking.
That it's gotta be. Someone will do the calculations on the dip from that position. It's gotta be 3 to 4 inches. I think someone on the live stream last night said around that as well. It's gotta be around that. But you're shooting at an angle down, and so that's got to play into it as well. This individual must be experienced. I mean, they're gonna catch him. They're gonna catch this, and they will catch him eventually. How high profile this is, this individual will be caught. Man, if they caught that Luigi guy in a fucking McDonald's, they're gonna catch this guy. It's a case of when and where, and then we're going to find out more about this individual's experience.
Within minutes, immediate response, campus police already on the scene quickly secured the area. Kirk's security team rushed him to a nearby hospital in a private vehicle. Nearby buildings went into lockdown as police conducted room-to-room searches for the shooter. 2 people were briefly detained but later released.
Yeah.
The shooter was not captured.
That's the speed at which social media points fingers. There was an old guy that people were saying this was him. And he got arrested at the time, and there's a lot of people throwing stuff at him, and it wasn't even him, was it?
Remains at large. 12:37 p.m., campus lockdown and evacuation. University officials announced
12:37, the individual, I mean, where's the building? Where are we now? Where are we? Why can't I pinpoint where we were? Where was it? Damn it, I've lost where we were.
Full campus evacuation and canceled classes. Students and staff were instructed.
There, okay, so it's here. It's down here. This individual was here, and he's already gone. Out at that time, he's already gone. He's probably in a car, so he probably parked somewhere. I bet he must have drove off. Although there's footage of him limping away. I've seen footage of that as well. If he jumped off a 2-story building, like he's gonna have hurt himself, and he was walking quite substantially. It looked like a suburban neighborhood where, oh God, I wish I could find that CCTV footage of the individual jumping from the building and then running off. I really wish I could find it and show you guys, because it looked like he was walking through some other, I think it was like a Ring camera or something like that. This individual was walking, but he was limping. And that makes me believe that he was walking through a suburban neighborhood, which looks like this neighborhood over here. And so was he walking away to a car? Was like, where was he going? I wish I could find that footage. Such a shame that I can't find it now. Just quickly scrolling through X, Twitter here, trying to find it, but unfortunately it is non-existent. Also, be careful if you're going online to look for this footage and the video pops up of the actual shooting. Please be careful. It's horrific, it's sad, and it's definitely traumatizing. So just please be very much aware. Here's some images of the guy. You can see he's kind of like walking through a neighborhood. I saw a video of it and he was limping, which means he's probably hurt himself jumping off that one-story building. There's a lot of fingers being pointed out online as well, saying, hey, this CCTV looks like this guy, it looks like that guy. Like, it's not our job to do that. Got to leave that to the professionals. They're going to be scouring everything on the internet and taking every little bit of footage they possibly can. Yeah, I unfortunately can't find the footage, and I'm not gonna sit here just scrolling, waiting for it. But you'll be able to find that footage online yourself. But you would have already got it. It looks like this neighborhood over here.
To shelter in place until law enforcement declared the campus safe. Early afternoon, official announcements. It was confirmed that Kirk had died from his injuries at the hospital.
Now, I'm not going to lie, after seeing the footage, I don't think he died at the hospital. I think he died almost instantly within 30 seconds to a minute with the amount of blood he lost. I think he died almost instantly. The idea that he went to the hospital and then was pronounced dead at the hospital, there, for those of you who don't know, I think there's usually a buffer zone where they don't want to say that it's happened so that they can inform their family first. But I think it happened pretty much instantly.
But to truly understand assassinations, we need to look at different case studies where even a single assassin has wreaked havoc by targeting high-profile leaders.
So in the rest of this video, it talks about other assassinations. It doesn't really go back to the Kirk incident, which is the only one I want to talk about right now. This goes on to talk about the Trump incident and all that other one. So if you want to watch the rest of this video, there's a link down below. Go over to the OG video, give it some love. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you think this individual was experienced? My presumption is that they were. I think they're going to be caught by the end of the week. I think it's going to be quite obvious that this guy is going to be caught very soon. There's too many trails. I think it'll be pretty quick that this guy's caught, and then we'll find out more about this individual and their reasoning and motives and experience. I'm trying to break this down from a military standpoint rather than getting in it politically. All I've got to say is that my heart goes out to them children. His two children. I personally didn't agree with a lot of stuff that Kirk said, but no children deserve to grow up without a father, and no children ever deserve to see and witness that happen to their father. That is you can't even put it into words at what them kids must be going through right now, and the wife. I wouldn't wish that on my biggest enemies. It's just they obviously need to be taken care of, and I hope they are getting the care they deserve. Them children, they're the people I'm thinking of the most right now, I think. But if you want to talk more about it politically and opinions and all that other stuff, we'll probably go live either tonight or tomorrow night or something like that. If you want to join, you can certainly go ahead and do that. Last night I went live and we just played some games and we just had a bit of a rant and just talked about stuff and it's a very politically worrying place, the West right now, and it's quite dire with the amount of news coming out with Putin pushing lines on Poland and this happening and all this other stuff. There's just a lot going on in the world right now. And like I've said in previous videos on the live stream, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, you know, get outside, take some deep breaths, read a book. Don't let yourself become obsessed. It's very easy to do that. There's a lot of emotion going on around the world right now, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of unnecessary cheering by some individuals. It's a world right now full of division. And all I'm going to say is just make sure you give your loved ones a hug and kiss your kids goodnight if you have them, because every moment we have is cherished. And I don't know, you know, if there's anything that happens after this life. I don't know if there's a God. I'm not a religious person, although I'm definitely someone who questions that stuff on a daily basis. But you know, pray if you have to, if that resonates with you, or just, again, just tell your loved ones you love them. If you haven't spoke to a family member in a while, pick up the phone, tell them you love them. Even if it's just a friend, pick up the phone, just check in with them, check in with their mental health, and also get yourself outside. All right, guys, don't forget to check out Chug, 10% off, link down below, and check out Morale if you want to talk more about the outdoors and all that other stuff. Other than that, stay safe. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.